Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He is the journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I am super enthusiastic because this is an argument today that we've been making for a while.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to prove ourselves right.
Yes, today we are talking about the NBA conferences. We're talking about East versus West, little 90s rap, East Coast, West Coast.
Little Biggie versus
Tupac, exactly. We're going to talk about which side of the draw, Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, is really overall just better. And there's been a lot of dispute. Early on, you could really say that the Western Conference was just absolute top to bottom better than the Eastern Conference. Well, as the playoffs have taken place,
correct, few sweeps have
there's
been
been
on.
A couple sweeps, and so now the conversation has been brought back up because it's, like you said, there's been some sweeps, and so we're trying to figure out, really, is the West that much better than the East? And so we have our own opinions, so we're going to break this down today and talk about this, because as the playoffs line up, we're going to take away the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors
out of the conversation,
out of the draw here, and talk about basically 2 through 8. Even though the Cavs were the 2 seed, we're going to put them basically as the 1 seed. And in the East anyway, and then we'll just talk about the matchups across the board.
Right.
I think this is a good argument because it's going to prove our point for what we feel like, at least going in for the NBA Finals coming up.
And just for clarity, we're only talking about the top 7 teams that made the playoffs outside of the Cavs and the Dubs.
Right.
Because we don't care about the Knicks. You know, we're not talking about, the Heat.
Exactly.
We're not talking about the Nuggets. We're talking about basically the 2 top-tier level teams on both sides of the draw.
And clearly there were some teams that tanked this year. The Lakers, the Sixers. Mark Cuban came out and said that the Mavs were tanking at the end.
Trying to lose on
We're not
purpose.
talking about those teams that are in desperate need of trying to get lottery picks. We're talking about the teams that made the playoffs and in the matchups going forward.
The Hornets.
Yes, exactly. Some of those teams that were decent but weren't really there.
Well, we're looking at the teams on both sides that both made the playoffs and saying, okay, which team, the Cavs or the Dubs, had the easier walk to the finals?
Right. Considering that up to just the other day, where both teams, the Cavs and the Warriors, were undefeated.
Right.
There wasn't a team that was 11-0. The Cavs eclipsed that, and then just last night, the Dubs went 12-0. So right now, both teams, now it's Cleveland is 11-1 because they did lose to Boston, but up to that point, they were 11-0. And so I think it actually tied the Bulls or the Lakers is what it was. And then the Warriors did the exact same thing, but then they just swept the San Antonio Spurs last night, which is why we're bringing this up. Okay, so let's break it down. From 2 on down through 8, for the West, you had San Antonio, you had Houston, you had the Clippers, you had the Jazz, you had OKC, you had Memphis, and then you had Portland.
And on the Eastern side of it, the Celtics were technically the number 1 seed, but okay, we'll just give that. But you had Celtics, you had Toronto, you had the Washington Wizards, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Atlanta Hawks, Indianapolis Pacers, and the Chicago Bulls.
Right.
So what we're going to basically do is compare both sides of those draws.
Correct.
And see in a 7-game series which half has which teams would win more.
Right, exactly. Okay, so do you want to start with the top, or do you want to go from the bottom?
It doesn't matter.
All right, well, let's just go ahead. Let's start with the, let's go with the West, and let's start with the top here.
Okay.
Let's go with the San Antonio Spurs. Now, in a matchup against the Celtics, how do you feel like they would fare out?
They would win. 7-game series.
You would, okay, I agree with that as well. I think they're just all-around better team. Okay, what about the Toronto Raptors, San Antonio?
San Antonio sweeps the Raptors.
Okay, what about the Washington Wizards?
They get the Wizards in 6.
Okay, we got the Milwaukee Bucks, scrappy young team this year.
They are a scrappy team, but they're going to get beat. I think San Antonio gives them 1
Love
game.
Jason Kidd. Yeah. They got a young roster. They're not there yet.
They're not
all
there
right,
yet.
The Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, no, that's a sweep.
Sweep. Okay, all right, then we're talking about the Indianapolis Pacers.
Exactly what the Cavs did to them, sweep.
Okay, yeah, and then we got the Chicago Bulls.
Now, that would have been a game. The Bulls, low-key, I know D-Wade is on his way. Yeah. He's on the south side of his career, but they were scrappy. They looked good. And that Jimmy Butler is
and then the way Rajon Rondo started the playoffs, they stole 2 games away from the Celtics.
They did.
They looked like they were about to sweep the Celtics.
They really
won the first 2 games in Boston.
So I think with a San Antonio-Chicago 7-game series, I think Chicago probably gets 2 games.
At least 2 games.
Yeah, but I still give it to San Antonio. So I'll do the same thing for you.
All right,
so you got Houston.
Yes.
Do you think the Rockets versus Celtics, 7-game series?
I actually do think the Celtics may pull that one out, but I think it would be a close series. I think 4-3 would be what I think it could go to a game 7 there.
Toronto, Houston.
Houston's got that one.
Washington
sweep,
Wizards.
Or not sweep, but they win the series.
Wizards.
I think the Wizards may get Houston Rockets on that one.
So it's 2-1.
Yes.
Bucks and Rockets.
Houston Rockets.
Hawks, Rockets.
The Rockets.
Pacers, Rockets.
Also the Rockets.
Bulls, Rockets.
That's going to be a tough one. I think depending on where the home field advantage will go to, I think the Rockets would still probably get it just because I think they still have a little bit more in the tank.
So of the 7 teams on the east side of it, you think the Rockets get 5 of them?
Yes, exactly.
I agree.
Okay, so let's, as we're trying to get through here, the Clippers, Celtics, what do you feel on that one?
Okay, the Clippers, that's hard because they have a way to lose.
That's true. They
should
do.
never lose.
Okay, well, what does your gut tell you on that?
My gut tells me the Celtics would get them.
Okay, what about the Raptors?
Clips.
Okay, Washington Wizards.
Clippers.
Okay, what about the Bucks?
Clippers.
All right, Atlanta Hawks.
Clippers.
Indiana Pacers.
Clippers.
And the Chicago Bulls.
Bulls.
Okay, all right.
Okay, they're for you. The Jazz, oh, it's a tough one. Okay, so Jazz, Celtics?
I'm going to go with the Celtics on that one.
Okay, Jazz, Raptors.
The Jazz.
Jazz, Wizards?
I may actually go the Wizards on that one, too.
Jazz, Bucks?
The Jazz.
Okay, Jazz, Hawks?
The Jazz.
Jazz, Pacers?
The Jazz.
And Jazz, Bulls?
Oh, that's going to be a tough one. I may actually go Bulls with that one.
I would agree with you on Bulls. So, again, Jazz would beat 4 out of those 7
Right,
teams.
exactly. All right, so now we're going to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, Thunder, Celtics.
Celtics.
Okay, you got the Raptors, Thunder.
Thunder.
Okay, Wizards, Thunder.
Wizards.
All right, the Bucks, Thunder.
Thunder.
Okay, Hawks, Thunder.
Thunder.
All right, the Pacers, Thunder.
Thunder.
And then the Bulls, Thunder.
Bulls.
You're gonna go Bulls?
Yeah,
okay.
Bulls. But I'm still giving the Thunder 4. I think they can beat 4 of the 7 teams on the East.
Right, and I agree with that. You know, just in all these games are hit and miss. We can go one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
We're saying in a 7-game series,
exactly.
who do I think will
right,
get it?
exactly.
All right, here you go. Grizzlies.
All right.
Grizzlies, Celtics.
You know, I'm gonna go Celtics if Isaiah Thomas is at his healthy.
Right.
Just overall.
All right. Grizzlies, Raptors.
I'm actually going to go Memphis on that one.
I would too.
Yeah.
Grizzlies, Wizards.
Let's see.
That'd be a fun series.
That's going to be back and forth. Really, I think the Wizards' youth will take over, and I think the Wizards, and they do. So I think that in Memphis, you know, Memphis is a scrappy. Okay, but I'm going to go with the Wizards on that
one. Memphis and the Bucks.
Memphis.
Memphis Hawks.
Memphis.
Memphis Pacers.
Memphis.
And Memphis Bulls.
Ooh, that's going to be tough. That would definitely go to a 7-game series. Oh, and I think
Say the Bulls. It's okay.
I may go Bulls on that one.
So on this one, you still went 4-3.
Yeah, 4-3. Memphis.
All right. Well, since it's your show, you get the last one.
All right.
All right. You got the Portland Trailblazers.
Yes, Portland Trailblazers.
Trailblazers, Celtics. 7-game series. Who gets it?
The Celtics.
Okay.
Do. Yeah.
Trailblazers, Raptors.
I would go with the Blazers.
Okay. Blazers, Wizards.
The Wizards.
Okay, I'm about to say, come on now. Blazers and the Bucks.
It's going to be a tough one, but I think Portland would be able to give them a good run. I think Portland wins that one.
All right, Hawks, Blazers.
You know, I'm going to go with Portland. I'm sticking with Portland on that one.
Okay. Then the Pacers in Portland.
Portland. I'm going to Trailblazers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't maybe have to beat you on the thing. Okay, the Bulls and the Trailblazers.
With Rondo, I think the Bulls would win. Yeah. So, you know, and that's what you want to see. You know, I feel like there's good contrast on both sides. You know, I think that the West still has a lot more firepower, but there still are some teams. I don't believe in the Atlanta Hawks at all, so I think that's why they're getting swept on almost all of them.
Well, and the Bucks are just young, and the Wizards need to just keep their head about it.
Right.
Our point was, out of the 7 teams in the West and the 7 teams in the East, the only one we thought wouldn't best those teams is Portland.
Right, exactly.
They're really, this argument of who has the easier route, the Cavs or the Dubs, that's not the argument you should be making.
Right.
It's about if you take the Cavs and the Dubs out, which conference actually has teams that can beat somebody else?
Right.
Basically, our point was on the East, you got the Celtics and you got the Bulls, depending on how they play. And you know, depending on how the stars align, maybe the Wizards.
The Wizards, the Celtics, and the Bulls, for the most part, are the scariest teams out of that.
Right.
The Bucks are
the
a scary
Bucks are
team,
young
but
and
they're still
upcoming.
young, so you know they're going to get outrun
nobody
at that
outside
point.
of Paul George,
exactly.
who shrunk.
Who didn't do anything, and then the Hawks have nobody. And so
well,
it's
they did have Kyle Korver, but LeBron had to
exactly.
get the king summoned.
He did,
and off
exactly.
he went.
So this is a conversation that will always be brought up until the tide turns a little bit. And so we're going to see, you know, back in the 80s with Magic, it was the Eastern side of conference, the Eastern Conference that had all the big names.
The Lakers were literally all you had coming out of the West.
So,
and it goes back and forth.
It goes back and forth.
Right now, let's all pretend that we are out of La
exactly.
Land. The Western Conference
let's
is
just be
dominant.
real. Let's just be real. We all know how it is. 3 of the MVPs coming out of the West right now.
All 3 MVP candidates came out of the West.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Well, we want to say we appreciate your time, folks. We hope that we see you on social media. Please continue to follow us, and we'll see you again, folks.